It began at 4 a.m., long before the first rays of light touched the city. The doors were still locked, the store silent, but the tension in the air was already heavy. I tied my apron, checked my name tag, and prepared myself. Today wasn't a regular day. Today was Black Friday. The first wave hit before sunrise. Shoppers surged forward as if the doors were a finish line, pushing, shoving, and shouting. The air smelled of coffee, sweat, and impatience. I greeted them with a smile I had practiced for years, even as my body screamed exhaustion. My feet throbbed. My back ached. But no one cared. No one noticed. "Where's the PS5? A man shouted, voice sharp and urgent, eyes wild. "They're sold out!" I replied calmly, but my voice barely cut through the chaos. He slammed his hands on the counter, knocking over a stack of flyers. Another employee stumbled. A woman behind him screamed at her child to hurry. It didn't stop. Hour after hour, wave after wave of human storm battered us. People elbowed past, grabbed items, then argued when registers lagged. I scanned the lines as best as I could. 2 broken carts. 3 arguments over the same discounted headphones. A child crying in the corner, left unattended because the parent was fighting over the last tablet. We were invisible. Just cogs in a machine, holding up signs that said extra 50% off, while being pushed and pulled in every direction. My manager barked at us to speed up. Customers yelled at us to check stock faster. Every second felt like a battle. I kept moving, kept scanning, kept apologizing, even as my hands shook and my head throbbed. I remembered a customer grabbing a stack of winter coats and flipping them through the air, sending them into chaos. Another shoved a cart full of items into the display stand, knocking over boxes. We picked up what we could, apologized, and moved on. There was no time to think, no time to rest, only to survive. Lunch didn't happen. Dinner didn't happen. Time was a blur of flashing lights, ringing registers, and screaming voices. By mid-afternoon, I couldn't feel my legs. My hands were raw from endless scanning. My uniform soaked through with sweat. And yet, the doors kept opening. Another line formed. Another fight broke out. Another price check called for me. Behind every discount sign, I saw fear, greed, and desperation. Shoppers weren't themselves. The deals had transformed them into something unrecognizable. And behind every deal, there was us. The workers, invisible but necessary, silently suffering the storm so the customers could claim victory. I watched one elderly woman argue over a $5 blender. Her hands shook. She looked exhausted, defeated. I handed her the receipt with a trembling smile. "Enjoy your day," I said, voice hoarse. She didn't answer. She just left, dragging her purchase like a trophy. But I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't winning. Not really. As the night wore on, the chaos didn't ease. It intensified. People were pushing carts, like battering rams, shouting over each other, ignoring the workers who tried to maintain some semblance of order. A fight broke out near the electronics section. Security intervened, dragging 2 people apart, both still screaming. My manager barked at me to restock shelves I didn't have time to check. By 10 p.m., the store felt like a war zone. Boxes were scattered across the floor. Broken price tags littered the tiles. People left with bags, with carts, with prizes, but none of them looked happy. Only exhausted, only desperate, only relieved they survived. I sank behind the counter for a moment. My arms ached. My feet were swollen. My heart pounded with adrenaline and exhaustion. And yet, I knew tomorrow, another Black Friday, another wave would come. I would be back, smiling, invisible, enduring the storm. At the end of the night after the last customer left, I walked the empty aisles. Shelves were empty. Trash and receipts everywhere. Silence was deafening. No one came to thank us. No one noticed the toll it had taken. And yet, somewhere in the chaos, I found a strange pride. Not because I survived, but because I had kept going. I'd fought, unseen, so that the storm could pass. Black Friday wasn't about the deals. It was about endurance. It was about surviving the madness. And most importantly, it was about remembering the cost behind every discount. Because for every product sold, for every deal claimed, someone paid. And that someone was often me, and all of us, the invisible warriors behind the chaos. Some things aren't visible on receipts. Some costs aren't listed on tags. But they are real, and they stay with you long after the doors close.